Hi everyone, let's talk about the NG-4. This is finished now, so you can get it from Etsy and our online store. And let's see what the NG-4 is about. So you might all be familiar with the NG-2 Goblin, which I have in my hand here. Now the the NG-2 has actually got quite large flywheels, and that's the reason why it is narrower in the back, where you house the battery, and the front here is somewhat bigger in order to be able to house the flywheels. Now the NG-2 Micro, which is sort of based on the NG-2, has somewhat smaller flywheels. It actually doesn't look like it, but it's somewhat narrower in front. And the NG-2 Micro also has a single trigger compared to the NG-2, which has a separate rev trigger in the bottom here. So the NG-2 Micro just has a simple rev trigger, just a simple trigger which revs the motors first. You hear a click there, and then pushes the dart out of the mag into the flywheels. The NG-2 Goblin does not have a mag release. There's a small catch here internally, so it's one less part to print and less parts to assemble, whereas the Micro has a mag release, which I think is kind of a nice feature. Now I've basically taken a lot of those features that you find in both of those blasters and taken the ones that I sort of like the most, and I've tried to implement them in the NG-4, meaning that the NG-4 does have a mag release. So let's give it a try. There you go. Releasing it is just simply push that lever, and the mag will actually fall out from the mag well. It also has a single trigger, very comparable to the one you find in the Micro. So if you push it a little bit, it will first spin up the flywheels and then push it. I can't see it, it's very dark in here, but then you will activate the pusher. In contrast to those two blasters, the flywheels are even smaller, and the design criteria this time was to make them small enough to make them disappear in the blaster. So, well, there's a small, it's somewhat wider in the front, but it's hardly noticeable. So it has a very, very sleek profile, which I guess makes it very simple to holster. Now the entire top assembly here, or maybe you want to call it slide, comes off. There's a lever in the back here that you fold down like this, and then you can push the slide forward like this, and it comes off. So it's very accessible. Basically, you have three major components. You have the cage up front here. You have the handle that houses the battery. I'll talk about that in a minute. And you have this upper arrangement that takes care of the pusher. So in here you have a spring, you have the pusher, and the trigger takes care of the pusher like this. So kind of a very simplistic setup, very simple to assemble. This allows me actually to put in all the cables first, do all the soldering, and then the assembly. There's the catch for the slide. Disregard this blue pin here, that's not required. What else? You see those two holes here? They are actually for a mag holster. So the pitch is the one you will find in most mag holsters, and the blaster also comes with a spacer. Just give me 1 sec, I'll show you. So here's the spacer, and that goes like this. And I believe these are M4 holes with a thread, so you can on both sides attach your mag holster. There you go. So it's very easy to holster this thing, somewhat easier compared to the NG-2 Goblin and Micro. In contrast to the Goblin and very similar to the Micro, the battery is housed in the handle now. So it's a somewhat bigger handle, but not too big, so it's very comfortable still, and it has a lid down in the bottom here that folds in like this, or opens like this. You put in your battery, the wire will come out over here, and yeah, actually I can show you. So here we've got a 2S LiPo, and it goes in like this. And the XT60 will come out on the top here, close it up, and you are ready to go. So this will be also held in, the XT60 will be held in place. So this is the 2S one, and let me show you guys how well the 3S fits. So there you go. Oh yeah, and by the way, I printed this in translucent, so you were actually able to see the battery in there. So that fits as well. I hope you can make this out. There's a texture on the grip. So this is fully printed into the shell. Gives you a little bit of a better grip. Now, let's have a look at the slide. Oh, yeah, you have to make sure that the connector is tucked away, and obviously this needs to be down. There you go. On top of the blaster you have your sight, your front sight, your rear sight, and this is a short piece of Picatinny on top, so just in case you want to attach something else to the blaster. As on the NG-2, all the blasters I do, the cage is ABS. This is simply because the motors might get warm. I've never actually experienced this myself, but they might get warm. I don't want anything to melt down here, so the entire black piece up front here is ABS. I'm also considering releasing a ABS version of this. I do have, I can find it now, but I do have an NG-2 Goblin that is entirely printed in ABS, and I can do the same for this one. So if anybody's interested, I will be releasing a complete ABS version of the NG-4, so you don't have to worry about it getting warm in the sun or anything. Another thing I also provide, you might have seen this is an incomplete one, but this is a 6-round Talon mag that we also sell, and that fits very nicely in here. It also almost disappears in the blaster, and this is true for all the blasters. But in terms of holstering this, it makes it even smaller. It makes the whole entire profile even smaller. Right. I think this is all I've got to say about the NG-4. In case you have questions, you leave them down in the comment section. Yeah. So, Chris out. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.